Section 22 of Stanton White, A Romance of the New South, by Asa Zadel Hall. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 22, For the New South. "Stanton," said I, when we were all three in the carriage starting for the hotel, "I didn't think you could do it." "He won the day for me," said Mr. Edson, leaning wearily against the soft cushions. "That remains to be seen," said Stanton. "Why, I'll tell you, Harold," continued he, after a pause. "You see, that speech has been accumulating for a lifetime. In it, you get the pent-up thought of years. It was the defense of my race, and my heart was in it." "Of your race?" exclaimed Mr. Edson and I, both at once. "Yes," said Stanton, "though few people are aware of it, excepting those whose long residence in the South has made them experts in detecting racial characteristics, there is a slight trace of Negro blood in my veins. My father is Squire White, though I believe that he does not own me as his son. My mother was a pretty quadroon who kept house for the Squire soon after the war. He sent us both away soon after my birth. She wandered northward and left me a homeless waif in a South Carolina city. Life's battle has been waged alone by me since I was 8 years old. Knowing nothing of my origin, I chanced to meet at Blank an older sister of my mother, who told me what I have just related to you. I am ostracized from many circles of society here on account of my race, and I fear that you have blamed upon Jenkins, poor Why, what's wrong?" "Did you not work on the wharf at Blank 4 years ago?" said I, in great excitement. "Yes," replied Stanton calmly. "Seeger was the overseer I struck. You were my rescuer. Owing to your assistance, I escaped unscathed to Philadelphia, where I readily found employment. I knew you as soon as I saw you at college, but I considered that I could best serve you incognito, although nothing that I can ever do will repay you for what you did for a helpless Negro 4 years ago. You have saved me from what is worse than death," said I warmly, "for a selfish life is worse than no life at all. I shall always be your debtor. I begin to see everything in a new light. Stanton, your experience has been typical. With but inadequate help from a white brother, you have battled with adversity and have won an education and a commendable character. By helping yourself, you have been able to lend assistance to your would-be rescuer. Thus it is with your race. Let us talk no more of these things, for Mr. Edson is very weary, I see." If Mr. Edson was weary, he did not show it. He sat bolt upright and spoke with energy. "Didn't that quadroon, your mother, have another child, a daughter?" "Not that I know of," answered Stanton. Mr. Edson relapsed into silence. Eager and expectant, the two girls met us at the hotel. In silence they embraced their father. "Mr. White saved the day for us," said Mr. Edson. "I wouldn't be here to tell the story were it not for Harold's strong arm and steady nerve," rejoined Stanton. The story of our troublesome companion then had to be repeated. The following morning the papers were voluminous in their account of the mass meeting. In one paper much sympathy was expressed for Mr. Edson in his unfortunate weakness. "The work of Waldron," said Stanton defiantly. In this paper Waldron's speech was printed in full and praised at length, while Mr. Edson's speech was not mentioned, the whole intent seeming to be to create the impression that Mr. Edson was not present at all. Stanton's address was characterized as the effort of a hot-headed young colored fellow with more oratorical ability than sound judgment. Senator Clark's remarks were mentioned only in a brief paragraph, and then it was simply the part that harmonized with Waldron's speech that was printed. The whole article was colored in a manner well suiting the yellow character of the journal. Stanton seemed the more chagrined when he learned that this yellow journal had a very large circulation among the lower classes of the city, and that thousands of copies of this particular issue had been distributed gratis throughout the city and state. Other journals there were both in Jacksonville and elsewhere that gave a fair and accurate report of the meeting, commending the work of Mr. Edson and characterizing Mr. White as a young man of great promise, and his speech as a masterly effort. Many of the most respected residents of Jacksonville, including Senator Clark himself, called upon Mr. Edson at the hotel the next day and thanked him for his words, making special mention also of Mr. White. The impression began to deepen upon me as we sped homeward that Mr. Edson's political chances were not as good as we formerly believed. We were not greatly surprised, therefore, when the news came a few days later that Waldron had won the fight and had been elected to the legislature. One evening, as our little group sat upon the moonlit piazza, where we had spent so many happy hours before, Mr. Edson suddenly interrupted the gay conversation with a decisive, "Well, my mind is made up. No doubt it was God's hand that shut the door of politics against me for the present, but He has left another door of usefulness open to me. I shall take charge of the normal department of University immediately. My daughters shall complete their education there at the best school the state affords. If you, Mr. White and Mr. Edson, have nothing else in view, I'm sure that places can be secured for you upon my teaching staff. I shall show myself faithful in the little sphere of a single school, and if in time I shall merit larger things, I've no doubt that they will be open to me." I was first to reply. "I'm going home in a couple of days to see those dear people of mine. I have delayed my start for so long a time that I am becoming impatient. I shall stay with them a year or so and try to show them that their love and sacrifice have not been in vain. Then I believe I shall enter a seminary and prepare myself to preach the gospel. I have often been told that if my inclination only lay in that direction, the ability would not be lacking. If the preaching of a poor unlettered Negro like the one I heard can bring a man to enter the better life, then I, with my better training, should not be without some meed of success. Then, when my education is completed—" But the rest of the sentence was lost to all excepting Miss Zoe. It was getting chilly in the damp evening air, and Mr. Edson went into the house for a heavier coat, so he said. Although at the time I seemed to have eyes and ears for but one, yet in the peculiar soul exultation of the hour there seemed to be a dual personality, one part thinking and speaking only for Miss Zoe, while my other self was keenly alive to all that was transpiring around me. Thus, while I was whispering soft nothings to Miss Zoe, I was well aware that silence reigned between Stanton and Miss Irma. She sat with downcast eyes, demurely waiting. The silence grew oppressive, broken at length by Miss Irma. "Mr. White, you have not told us what you expect to do." He avoided her frank gaze. "Miss Irma," he said finally, and there was the slightest tremor in his voice, "we have known each other for quite a while, have we not?" "So much has happened during the time of our acquaintance," she replied, "that it almost seems to me that we have always known each other." "I am very glad that you feel that way, because it makes what I am to tell you much easier." Another drooping of the eyelashes and hanging of the head on her part. "We have known each other long enough to be able to trust each other in very trying circumstances," resumed Stanton. "It will be necessary for you to trust me more implicitly in this than in anything else in our lives." A glad light was stealing over her face. Glancing up, she seemed astonished to find him looking very gravely at her. "Do not misunderstand me. I have about made up my mind to accept your father's proposition to place me upon his staff of teachers, at the same time permitting me to pursue studies in the collegiate department of the university, provided you will promise to think of me only as a brother or friend, no more." A slight cloud crossed Miss Irma's face, but with an apparent effort She calmly replied, "Certainly, Mr. White, if it is your wish." Then, looking him full in the face, she said, "Stanton, is there nothing I could do if I knew all?" "Nothing," he said decisively. Her lips calling him Stanton seemed to thrill him profoundly. Then, drawing his chair a little nearer, "Irma, dear," he said gently, lingering upon the words as if they were laden with sacred memories, "I cannot trust myself to say what perhaps I ought to say. Sometime you will know all that I have not the courage to tell you now. There is a confession I perhaps should have made to you long ago, before our friendship had proceeded far. But you know I had no intention of staying here so long. It was not until I was away from here in my journeyings through the state that I discovered how indispensable your presence seemed to be for my happiness. It's pure selfishness of me to wish to be near you, I know, and very likely you will deny me that privilege after you know what I have to tell you. Mr. White, I beg that you will not tell me anything of yourself or your circumstances which will lead me to repose less confidence in you. You have read my heart aright if you have guessed that I care much for you. More than this I cannot say." Stanton arose, cleared his throat, looked out into the moonlight, and then, as if by a mighty effort, said, "I must go." She rose and stood looking up into his eyes, the moonlight kissing her face into wondrous beauty and lighting her hair with a radiance almost divine. Seizing her hand passionately, he pressed it to his lips, then turned to go. "Stanton, one word." He paused. "If your secret is regarding your ancestry, I know it already, and I feel that it should be no barrier to our intimacy." "Dear one," he said, and his lips were very close to her ear, "I could never bring myself to think thus about it. Talk to Squire White tomorrow, and then tell me your decision, Stanton." "Indeed, I think it quite necessary that we should have the feeling of brother and sister, if that is what we are," said Stanton the next evening, as he drew his strong arm around Irma's waist. "So Mr. Edson told you all about our relationship immediately upon our return from Jacksonville, and you had the fortitude to keep it to yourself." "Ah, Stanton, I could not have known how truly noble you are, how pure and unselfish is your love, had I not tested you a little last night. Are you still determined to go with my adopted father and me to teach at University?" "Yes, sister dear. I have talked over the matter thoroughly with your Mr. Edson, and he desires it." Before I sped away for my northern home, I placed a ring upon Miss Zoe's hand, and received in return some fatherly counsel from Mr. Edson. In one of the towns in which the train paused for a moment in its onward flight, a little white church and a tiny schoolhouse beside it attracted my attention. "Ah," said I, half aloud, "I am thankful for these two uplifting agencies. By God's help, we 5 shall cause them to wield a yet mightier influence for the New South." End of section 22. Read by James K. White, Chula Vista. End of Stanton White, A Romance of the New South, by Asa Zadel Hall.